Oi, oi! There's more than just me and Jamie on this week. We have two very special viewers who put their name forward to come onto the show. So please be kind in the comments. Otherwise, you will be blocked forevermore. The quality of I'm hoping the live stream will be all right. I'm going to try and share the screen as well just to bring visuals up. But then I don't know because we've got multiple people on, it might jutter. So maybe I won't. But what we're going to do is I'll update the profit and loss as I try to do every week. We'll quickly rant a little bit. And then because we've got a couple of guests on, I'm just going to ask them a few little questions towards Cheltenham. Because look, lads, we're 3 weeks away from the eve of Cheltenham. It is getting too close now. There's been lots of stuff stirring up the last week or so, I suppose, with some of the markets. So I'd be keen to know what your guys' thoughts are. And then I'd also be keen to know the type of bettors you are as well. So like, I used to be keen proper on the anti-post stuff. That was pretty much all of it. Wouldn't have a bet on the week. Nowadays, I'm not quite the same, although I dip in a bit more anti-post than I had been the last couple of years. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We'll try not to keep it for too long, but say what the fuck you want. We're live on TV. Swear if you wish. So updating the profit and loss before I be polite and say, good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. We had a good few quid going out this weekend, didn't we? And yeah, it didn't quite go to plan. Don't really want to talk too much about some of the performances. There was a few that went really short odds on, but got beat, but never mind. 457 went out, 241 came back, so we lost 215 quid, 47% loss return on investment. The rolling return on investment, though, is at 10% still, so could be worse, couldn't it? And I only got a couple of weeks until Cheltenham, so I can't really do my bollocks before then. Hopefully. Right, Jamie, I'm going to kick off with you as you are the old face that's on here. Not because you're old, but you've been here a while. Jamie, how have you been? It's been a busy, old, stressful week for you, innit? Are you at least relieved in the fact that Cheltenham is getting ever closer?
Yeah, just about there, yeah. It's kind of the quiet time, isn't it, really? It's the quiet time of year. Yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow, really, and start going in, digging into the old handicaps. And yeah, I suppose we'll give them away our night on the 3rd of March in Toaster, and I'll say no more than after that.
Happy day. So this time of year, is this like the weekend where now, I know there's still some racing going on, but year on year, this would be where you would just wind down now, review a few markets maybe, but just focus on the handicaps now, is it?
I'll watch the race now on Wednesday, right, David? Punches down to Q Vega. See what Gareth Marceau, but probably it's going to be a penalty kick for her, to be honest with you. But no, I have no interest now till it's just handicaps tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the entries.
Yeah,
and see how many bets I've lost.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see how many of the Irish stick in the Ultima this year as well. Joel, I'm going to come to you first because you're the top of my screen. Thank you very much for joining us. You won the Dublin Racing Festival competition where I asked people to pick a winner over the 2 days. You got the highest paying return. I mean, admittedly, it wasn't that high a paying return, but you got the return anyway. We stuck £25 on Salvador Ziggy for the National Hunt Chase. We obviously will talk through Cheltenham as the rest of it goes on. But how are you doing, mate? How are you prepared for Cheltenham? Like I said before, we're talking about, like, I used to anti-post bet loads, and then when it gets to the week, I might have a few more bets now than I used to do. Sort of trying to find some sort of hybrid now. How's your style of things? Is you like Jamie now? You sit back, look at the handicaps. Have you already got a few quid invested, or are you more waiting for the day?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dave. Most of my stuff is for the graded races anyway. We anti-post, and then get stuck into handicaps once the weights come out next week.
Yeah, is there what would be your filthiest, dirtiest anti-post bet you've got so far that you'd be happy to say? Not even necessarily like your best chance of winning, but something that you're quite proud of, whether it's something at a big price or a wise guy horse that you jumped on before anyone else did, maybe.
Pretty Banbridge at 14-1.
Ooh, sits pretty, especially after Pic Dory's performance this weekend. Done a nice little bit of franking in it. Maybe needs some better ground for him, but yeah, looks to have a favourite chance if he gets there. Anthony, sorry, I even asked you at the beginning how to say the name. I always get it wrong. I'm horrific with it. How are you doing, mate? You've been a long-time follower. We've met before at the racecourse, I believe. You're now here live on YouTube in front of the whole entire all 48% of them. How are you doing, mate? How's your Cheltenham prep going? You excited for the fact that it's there? Same as I said to Joel there. Like, are you a big anti-post punter, or do you prefer to wait till the day?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've just got involved this year really with the anti-post stuff towards Cheltenham. But yeah, I'll be obviously punting towards the day as well once you get the variables change. So yeah, I'll be betting on the day as well.
Nice. Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll see if anyone's got anything to moan about. Like, Jamie, there must be something you need to get off your chest this week. There is a couple of messages that were sent through. I'll be honest with you. I'll save them for next week to do the rants on there because otherwise they'll keep the show going for a little bit. The only thing there is something I'd like to moan about as well. Oh, Jamie, I'll come to you first. Anything you want to get off your chest?
I have nothing, Dave. I was only off, as I said, a long week's work, and I went out and met my mates the weekend, so that I won't see because they're not into horses for a couple of weeks. So that was my weekend in the pub. And we nearly lost to Luton yesterday, so do you know what I mean? So even though we should have scored 4 or 5 past them, but anyway, and I'm flying into Luton in a couple of weeks' time, so yeah. No, that was my weekend. I went out with my mates, and that was it. I backed a few horses, obviously, yeah, and that was it. I suppose my main bet yesterday was Tullyhill, yeah. I really fancied it. Got a bit of 6-4, about 6-4. Yeah, I was late to the party because I had absolutely no interest, but I couldn't let Tullyhill go, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's about it, Dave. That was my punt for the whole weekend. I just wanted to back one horse, and that was Tullyhill. I hit him at 14th for the Supreme, and I'm happy with that. A bit of each way in it. I don't know, it was a 10 or each way or something like that. 14th one when he won his Nace Main there on Lauder's Day when it was rescheduled. Yeah, I thought, he just reminded me of Champagne Fever, and I thought they finally got the trip right. And look, we'll see after that.
Yeah, and you did say that to me at the time as well, to be fair to you, so not necessarily so much after time, and even though you are mentioned in the bet a long time further down the line. We did talk about this beforehand. Joel, you got some filthy, fiendish price on Tullyhill, right, for the Supreme?
Yeah, I got between 55 and 60 on the exchanges. So
that's why the exchanges is beautiful. It take a few punts, big swings at big prices. Anthony, have you had any bets in the Supreme so far? Tullyhill, has he wound you up this weekend? Actually, to be fair, you did say Willie Mullins is winding you up more than anyone at the moment, I think.
Yeah, it's just a puzzle. It's Willie Mullins constantly. I suppose going towards the festival, you never know what horse is racing where. So it's just it's a bit of a puzzle. So I suppose that's after the fun of betting, obviously. But I am on Ballyburn for the Supreme. I'm on him a little bit of a better price than what's available now. I did bet Mystical Power as well at 12. I think he was on there, so got a bit of a better price for him. But I don't really believe that he's got the ability, to be honest, to do 2 over Ballyburn. To be honest, as well, I'll give Firefox a chance.
It's a mad race, isn't it? Because like you say, we're like 3 weeks out from Cheltenham now. There is no doubt in anyone's mind, I imagine, that Willie's got a good idea of where his horses are going. But obviously, he just doesn't want to commit to anything. There could be injuries or that type of stuff, and he doesn't owe anyone anything. Like, he doesn't have to say what's in his mind at this current moment of time. When we get, there's lots of like moves and stuff on the exchange and stuff that comes out of it as well. And I know there might be some insider trading, or there might be some information that flops about or whatever, but I can't imagine after Tullyhill's performance. Tullyhill's obviously put himself in the Supreme picture. Tullyhill's only got the entry in the Supreme. I mean, it's fairly obvious that 3-week gap before Cheltenham is a bit tight. But if he goes to Cheltenham, he can only run in the Supreme anyway. Just off the back of that, doesn't necessarily mean that Ballyburn would then automatically move to the Ballymore. But I've said to you boys as well, like a couple of hours ago, he was 3-1 on the exchanges, Ballyburn for the Supreme. He's now 4-1, and bits of money's being matched on there. It's not for like chunks and chunks of cash, but it's just weird, isn't it? It's just annoying. But this is where it gets difficult, isn't it? When you get yourself in like the anti-post mindset, if you want to see what news is going on in Twitter, you want to see the performances that are going out there, you want to get any indications and clues. Sometimes when you get this close, you just think, fuck it, I'd rather just wait till final decks now, see who's running where. Because from my standpoint on the race, I feel like Tullyhill's won a listed hurdle. Yes, he looks quite nice. I don't think he's as good as they thought he was at the start of the season. He got like an easy enough time, softish lead. I thought he should have been favoured for the race, even though he ended up that way. Ballyburn's got the form in the book. If Ballyburn still goes to the Supreme, he wins the Supreme. I guess the big question mark around all of it is, if you took Ballyburn out, then it is a bit of a muchness behind probably. Mystical Power, Tullyhill, even Firefox, as much as you have to be forgiving him, they are like, it's a pretty shit Supreme outside him, isn't it? And because Firefox, he jumps nicely, and there has to be an excuse for his last run, I think. It never really come out what that was as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know anyway. Jericho de Repene's form hasn't looked good enough for it, so you'd have to be hyping up. But I still think it all just stems around that, doesn't it? It just depends. If Ballyburn runs in the Supreme, he wins the Supreme. If he doesn't go in the Supreme, it could be any of a few in behind. And I think that's what Willie's probably got to realise as well, and I don't think Tully Hill's that far clear. I know he's got mystical power as well, but fuck it, why couldn't he run mystical power up in Trip? I guess we'll never know, will we? Anyway, maybe we're talking too much about fucking Ballyburn and Tully. That's all that everyone sees me talk about. Joel, if you had to say right now, well, that's it. Yeah, he gets in the system, doesn't it? Joel, if you had to say right now, 100% committed, forget financial investments, any of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
If you were the trainer of both Ballyburn and Tully Hill, where would you run both of them if you had to decide today?
Tully Hill Supreme, Ballyburn, barring Bingham. Because
Jamie, what would you say? I'm not financially invested. What would you do if you were the trainer of both?
They both have to run in the Supreme, Dave. And because he's too many for the Bearing, Bingham, or whatever it's called. Yeah, I think they'll both run. The one is the flying the item, and obviously is Mystical Power. Like, I go back to remember that day, like, you know, look, you were very unlucky. Look, you came over for the Lawlers and Nath. Like, there was a huge gamble on Mystical Power, like, do you know what I mean? And I know it's a bit of each way money, but I think would have probably won that Lawlers, because that Lawlers wasn't great in my opinion. So look, yeah, it depends. Are they going to look? I don't know, will they split Jericho and Mystical Power, to be honest with you? Because look, they put Mystical Power in the Supreme and Jericho, like Nico Devine will be on Jericho, and Mark Walsh would be on Mystical Power. So it doesn't make a difference really. And plus, too, you have to remember, like Captain CB and Binocular, they both run, like, Manus doesn't really care. Like, he can throw a few darts in it. But the only thing is, he doesn't really have a Ballymore horse at the moment. So I just hoping Mystical Power goes to the Ballymore, because I think Mystical Power will beat anyone in the Ballymore for speed. I don't think it doesn't jump well enough for Supreme in my book.
Yeah, could easily happen. He could be the one that diverts. You as well, Anthony. Do you think that Ballyburn, Tully Hill would both go Supreme? Do you reckon they'd split them up? Where would you send them?
Yeah, both to the Supreme, to be honest. I mean, I am invested obviously more in Ballyburn financially, but yeah, I'd want to run them both to the Supreme.
That's where I feel like I'm sat with it as well now, because I know Willie would like to split him up so that he could win a couple of races, but he has got plenty of darts in that bar in Bingham as well. Oh, it's mad, isn't it? The thing that will always just sit in my head until we see what happens in the festival is, we know how Willie likes to have multiple entries for horses. Like, he doesn't mind throwing them left, right, and centre. It makes me feel uncomfortable that he only held the Supreme entry for Tully Hill, because it's almost like he'd already decided he was going to keep him at 2 miles regardless of what he did after. It's not like he was like, oh, he's my Supreme horse, let's enter him for that race. Typically, I think if Willie Mullins thinks he's got a reasonable horse, he would give them all the options, because he wants to be able to pick and choose where he sends them. So that's like, I don't know, flagging is like a little bit of an alarm bell in my head. I do wonder, and I know he could stay at home, right, Tully Hill, but at the end of the day, there's a big enough gap to Punchestown anyway. Unless they saved him for like an Aintree or something, which feels even weirder to do. I don't know. I reckon they'll both run in the Supreme, but I guess we won't know, will we? Maybe it's Twitter hysteria that's causing the market moves. Maybe Willie has said so to some people that we don't know about. Right, so I feel like if they did, right, well, let's just pretend in a magical world they do all run in there. I still say Ballyburn wins the Supreme. Joel, who wins the Supreme if they're both in there?
Probably Ballyburn, but there's more dangers in the Supreme for me. Like Firefox has already beaten him, so. But yeah, pretty Ballyburn.
I agree with that. Jamie, you would win the Supreme right now if Ballyburn did run in it.
Ballyburn.
And then Anthony, same for you? Or would you still say Tully Hill could do it?
I think Ballyburn's a machine, to be honest. I think he's I think he's going to be firing.
Totally agree. Ballyburn's a machine. I'm like, look, fair enough. Like the ground, exactly what Anthony said there. The ground was deep yesterday, right? I think, and look, and he got exactly what you're saying, Dave. Tully Hill got its own way in front, but you have to remember at the Dublin Race Fest. Look, I know I was there and I saw it from my own eyes. He was quicker than State Man, so work it out for yourself. They're not going to be Ballyburn.
Yep. I guess we'll have to just see how it goes. This is like I say, the frustrating thing. It's one of them. You can ruminate, you can think about it as long as you want now, can't you? Bets have probably already been struck. There's positions we might want to trade in and out of, but fuck it. Let's wait for final decks for that one. Right. We'll continue on the Cheltenham theme. We'll see how much we can get in within the hour. Arkle, obviously this race at the beginning of the season looked like a 2-horse race. Marine Nationale, Facile Vega, thrown on its arse, I would say, after Facile Vega's chasing debut, because although he jumped like a bag of spanners, people were still very impressed with the engine that he had. I kind of got duped into that. First impression of his chasing debut was, doesn't look like the greatest of chasers. But then I did keep making, not necessarily excuses, but kept looking at him thinking, do you know what, his engine was better. I'm probably not seeing it through. that's all got a bit to pot now, hasn't it? And historical trends and stuff would suggest you can't be outside the first 2 in any of your chase starts to go and win an Arkle. It's a mad race now, but it does make it a potentially good betting medium if you can get a handle on what's going on there. I'm going to come to you first, Joel. Would you be forgiving of Marine National? Because if you put a line through that Dublin Races Festival run, he is a Supreme winner. I think in the last 10 years, 3 Supreme winners have come to this race. All 3 of them have won the race that have come after winning a Supreme. But the ground, the fact they're doing the wind, like they're tinkering with his wind apparently, and they're like the tongue ties, all that sort of stuff. Is there too much negative around Marine National that you think maybe he's just a bit of a yak, or would you be happy to forgive him and think he's potentially, and probably, the best horse in the race of all of them? So he's probably a bet now at 5-2.
No, I definitely wouldn't forgive him at the prices. I think it should be 5-1. Really, with the wind issue as well, it's very off-putting. If the ground had been a legitimate excuse, you could maybe give him another chance, but. No, not for me.
So who does win the Arkle for you then?
Absolutely no idea. I'm taking a chance on Facile Vega because Willie Bynes having right for the day, and he was second in the Supreme. Ilate Topsy is like a Leopardstown specialist, I think, in my opinion. He was nowhere in the Supreme, so take a chance on Facile Vega. Maybe find something at a big price on the day each way.
Yeah, see, that's the sort of camp I feel, and that's why I had that 100 each way on him when he was 32 non-runner money back, because I just thought, then I thought hopefully the race was going to cut up and he might only have like 2 horses to beat home to Nick Ferd. But it looks like it's probably going to be a bigger field race than normal. Anthony, would there be a strong fancy for you in this race now? Is there anything you backed anti-post that you're hoping comes good now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Calixius with history at the moment. I might be a little bit outside there, obviously, but former triumph winner at Cheltenham, obviously. So has got form on the track. Some puppy horses. And yeah, I think his jumping's pretty well. I think obviously the other one in there would be pound 50. I think obviously the way that jumps as well and travels through the races, I think that's a pretty good horse for the Arkle too. But yeah, there'll be my 2 stabs at it. I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Founder 50 ticks a lot of the boxes as well. From like, if you were to look at it from a trend perspective, I've always wondered whether he was ever like, I don't know, just like a bit short of being up to this standard, Jamie. But with the fact that it might not be the best horse that wins an Arkle, or it might not be as good an Arkle as we've seen in previous years. How do you see it now? Because I think when we've talked about this before, I don't think either of us really gave Founder 50 much of a chance, even after he'd beaten Vega the first time up, because we sort of just put it down as Vega a bad day. Is he on the radar for you now? How would you be seeing it if you had to bet in the Arkle right now to win it? Who wins it?
Oh, well, I want Gaelic Warrior here, Dave, to be honest with you. I think Gaelic Warrior will win if it runs. It jumped straight enough at Leopardstown in the DRF, and he just went flat out for 2 miles, and he obviously the old engine stopped there to Fort Less, so that's 2 miles for me. And if he runs here, he's still 6-1, 5, 6, 7-1. If he runs here, I'll be backing him, yeah, 100%. I have found a 50, Dave. I found a bet there at the start of the year. I might have 5 each way. I'm at 50-1, yeah. Yeah, I found it the last day. I like him. I've always liked Found a 50. Now, the only thing I will say, which will bring Marine National into the reckoning, is that Found a 50 won on good ground on Boxing Day. And that's Marine National's ground. But I'm not exactly what Joel said. I'm not buying it's the excuse of the ground, because he's won a heavy ground Royal Bond. He's beaten Irish Point on heavy ground in a Royal Bond. I think he needs another wind up, to be honest with you, because I saw him coming up the straight at Leopardstown. He was struggling. His head was flapping all around the place, more than normal, and he was just feeling feeling his wind. It's not got to do with the ground. He was feeling his wind. Obviously, if it's a good ground, Arkle, he comes into big time. There's no doubt about that. If you put a gun to my head at the moment, I like Found a 50, but the only thing is he just that? Is he quite good enough to win? If you know what I mean, he's definitely going to be placed. There's no doubt about that. Elete Tomp, I give absolutely no chance, even though it won exactly what Joe said as a Leopardstown specialist. Absolutely no chance in the Arkle. Doesn't like Cheltenham, in my book. Now, it could shock me. The only other horse I fancy, there's 2 obviously have chances, and weight is obviously Quicksilios is one. Ran at Naas last day, jumped well. His form around Cheltenham, obviously it's a new track when it comes to Quicksilios, when a Triumph. he will go out in front, I think. Rachel will just stick him out front, jump, catch me if you can, kind of a thing. Blood Destiny is another one flying the ointment. That's the thing. If Blood Destiny comes here with Quixilias, it's going to be fastly run. And they're going to take each other on. So that will set it up for a bit of a marine kind of type horse to come from nowhere, do you know what I mean, and catch him in the end for speed. But like if you put Gaelic Warrior in here as well, like there's 3 front runners, so like Found to 50 and Marine National are going to be suited by a good fast pace. So all depends who runs there, but at the moment, if you put a gun to my head, I'd love to see Gaelic Warrior because I think Gaelic Warrior will win by half track runs here.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Normally when you see an Arkle, this is one of the easiest races of the year to look at because you just follow some friends. It's normally a 2-horse race. This year's renewal, even when you skim down some of it, I know like potentially there's horses that might not run. You could probably see this being like maybe like 13, 14 runners. And then when you get to the point of that there's question marks about loads of them towards the head of the market, there's probably be loads at a big price to be potentially fancy in there. I'll be interested to see what they do on the day. Obviously, the more runners, the better. We might get some 4 places up for grabs with bookies. They might even offer us some stupid 5 places or something. I feel like it's definitely ripe for 1 or 2 scummy each way bets. I do appreciate that Marine National is a very good horse, but he's taken up way too much of the market, and he should be bigger than 5 to 2. I think even his biggest fans would say that, because you'd have to be very forgiving of that last run to get away with it. And it's obviously a different prep than it came into Cheltenham last year, isn't it? He had like a long time off. He had a big break and he was fine for it. He won't be having as long a break and it'll be coming off the back of a bad run. So it's a different dynamic, but fuck me, it's a good race. We'll skim the Champion Hurdle and the Mare's Hurdle just because...
Can I mention one for the Arkle?
Oh, yeah, go.
Don't necessarily think he's going to win. Might not even turn up, but Jello is about 33 to 1, where JPR 1's 12 to 1. And Jello was favourite for the race at JPR 1 when he got wiped out of the first. So
yeah, and all those times, because as much as I love Master Chewy, he fucked up Master Chewy with. I say there's no excuses. The ground was a bit of a thing, but he beat him, didn't he? And typically, when you get these types of horses beat horses, didn't they? They'll beat him again. Could be a shout. This is what it'll end up being, though, Joel. I reckon on the day we'll get there. There'll be 14, 15 runners, and there'll be probably 5 or 6 different people tipping up like a Jello, a Master Chewy, a Matata, or something like that. And all of a sudden, people will be like, "Oh yeah, that could have a fucking chance, couldn't it?" It's going to be a filthy one. Yeah. Maybe you want to invest a little bit less in, but sometimes it makes it better, right? If you can have 100 quid on something that's 6 to 4 to try and make yourself 250, or you can have a tenner each way at 25 to 1, just means we've got more cash, I guess, or more capital to go to war on the other races. Right. Anything else for the Arkle? Good, right.
That,
all gone.
Oh, and I was just going to say, I've heard a trend that generally, I think the last winner, each winner of the Arkle, has won its last race out since 2009, so that might be something to just take into consideration going forward.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember what their numbers are, but I feel like probably this decade nothing has been outside the first 3 in any of its runs this season as well. Most of them have finished first or second in every start, or definitely at least last time up. But yeah, loads of them have been winning it. It's one of those. It's just ripe for the trends to be fucked when there's so many horses coming in here that don't necessarily tick the boxes.
I mean, that's something I've read. So I mean, it might not be absolute gospel, but yeah, that's something maybe to look into.
And it depends on the rounds like as well, doesn't it?
All last 12 winners have won first time out, Joe. Is that
one last time out? Yeah. So that was out Facile Vega and Marine National.
And get rid of Blood Destiny, doesn't it? It gets rid of Gaelic Warrior. Get rid of Found to 50. So Quixilias wins.
yeah, that's it, mate. Come on.
I do believe that Zana here won last time out. So up
here he goes. Yeah. Third the champion herd behind Honeysuckle. He's all over him.
But I'll say this as well, right? Like I have to be careful some of the stuff that I say. I don't think I would ever get any trouble, right? This is all like tongue in cheek. But Zana here was very close to state man of that champion hurdle last year. The year before, when he was third and he was disqualified for banned substances, we do know his best form is at Cheltenham. So everything he does prior to then, he's only going to step up from it. Where there are a number of horses in there that you'd have to say, where do they find the other half a stone from to be competitive? This is what I mean. It's a mad fucking race, and we could make a case for like I said, there'll be 15, 16 runners probably, and you could plausibly make a case, I think, for most of them. And then you just watch on the fucking day, Marine National will just be back to his normal self and just rout them all, and everyone will look like an idiot for going with something else. Or Facile Vega will finally the penny will drop, because you can forgive him Leopardstown run. That's not his track. Fuck knows. Right, we're moving on because we're 25 minutes in. We won't do the champion hurdle because fucking what's the point? Won't do the mayor's hurdle because fuck it, what's the point? Although every mayor's hurdle winner for however long I can remember has won over 2.5 miles. So Lossie's gone, isn't she? But this is where when the stats come in, when you see a horse like a Lossie Mouth in there, and then you look at the stats and thinking, oh, there's a reason to take them on, you then just sort of slap yourself around the face and just say, fuck off. She wins, doesn't she? We will just skip that one anyway. No one thinks that Lossie Mouth gets beat in the mares, do they?
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think Astro Diamond could win if
Oh, get off! I'm gonna mute you in a minute. You're Jamie's best mate. Yeah, to me, Astro Diamond, she was better than I thought she would be in that Doncaster race. To be fair, so
yeah, I quite like that.
You'd better. Is it like each way to beat her, or would you better win to beat her?
I'll probably wait for the day, see what the prices are doing, and I mean, you could lay Lossie Mouth at the prices, and then you got the field running for you about 2 to 1, haven't you?
Yeah,
true, because she's short enough, isn't she? That music's yours, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
And she wins, doesn't she?
Oh, mate, I do love the horse. Don't get me wrong, I really do, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, I did give a squeak to Astro Diamond, and probably I got it myself.
It is one of them because it's not as if there's just one behind, is it? There's a few in behind that could challenge her, isn't there? Because even like Marie's Rock on some of her best forms up there. Obviously, who's the one? The Love Envoy comes back to her best. It was decent run like to Honeysuckle last year, and to get beat by Honeysuckle, regardless of them not being the same mare, is like probably better than anything Lossie Mouth's done so far. We don't know if she stays either, do we? Fuck it. They're supposed to be easy. I'm supposed to come here feeling more confident about all the races, and you guys are making it worse. Right, Ultima. We'll swerve out. I'm being rude.
Just do a reverse straight cast on the 3 Million Mullins horses. You can't lose.
Well, you can't lose. Echoes in rain, and it final farewell.
Echoes in rain. Wait till punches down, Dave. Wait till punches down. She'll beat them all at punches down.
No, Cheltenham's her last race, isn't it? Before she goes brood.
Oh, is that what it is? Is it? Yeah. I put her in a county hurdle because she'd have a right chance in the county hurdle.
Yeah, true. She's going mares, isn't she? Black type in it for her coming fourth in the mares hurdles. Better black type than coming fourth in the coming second in the county. National Hunt Chase, right, Joel? We don't need to ask you because Salvador Ziggy shits home.
I got
Anthony,
2 bets.
Have you had any bets in the National Hunt Chase? Is there one you fancy? Because Embassy Gardens, for all that he will tick lots of boxes, for all that he looks like a nice type, he's short in it at 2 to 1. Or do you like him?
I like Salvador Ziggy as well, mate. I'm with Joel to be honest, with this one. I mean, I like Embassy Gardens. I think he's got a lot of class, but I think Salvador Ziggy. Has he not got Cheltenham form as well from last season? Run over. I think I'm probably with him, to be honest. Well, I am with him. So.
Nice. So, Joel, I know I obviously just like cut you off there because of the fact that we had the free bet on Salvador Ziggy. I feel like you're a shrewdie, and maybe the Salvador Ziggy bet was just that. It was to cover because you've got some good bets or something else. Or is Salvador Ziggy your one dart at the National Hunt Chase?
No, I'm on Corbett's Cross at 10 to 1 as well.
I knew when you said Salvador Ziggy because it came in so calm as well. I was like, 100% he's hedging. You're not worried about Corbett's Cross being like, if he was like a human, he would be on some sort of medication. He would be in a padded cell. He's a nutter, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's why I got you to put on Salvador Ziggy.
Fair enough. That does make sense. I mean, I could see it with a Corbett's Cross. I could see it with an Embassy Garden. I could see it with a Salvador Ziggy. I think the rest of the runners that could be in a National Hunt Chase, I can't see how anything else wins. Like, it would be a shock for me, I reckon. Jamie, we've talked about this race multiple occasions. Embassy Gardens, I don't know, not winding me up a little bit. Maybe I missed the boat with him a little bit, but I don't know. He looks like a nice horse, but there's just something about him that just makes me feel like, every couple of years with Willie Mullins, you either get the one that goes and wins and bolts up and looks like a good thing, or you get the ones that run absolute shit and then like carefully selected, and then you just think to yourself, why were they ever the price they were? I can't tell what side of the fence I'm sat with Embassy Gardens. So do me a favour. Does Embassy Gardens deserve to be 2 to 1 favourite for a National Hunt Chase?
No. watch his Albert Bartlett run. I haven't be backing him at 2-1 anyway. No chance in the world. Yeah, I've great bets on Salvador Ziggy. They have 14s with a 16 somewhere there. I found on a bet there the last day. A good friend of mine was at Killarney that day. I missed it. I was actually out playing golf, and it was in August, I think, the August meeting. And he said to me, yeah, the way he power cleared Killarney on good ground, do you know what I mean? Goodish ground now. It wasn't good ground in Killarney. He said to me, yeah, there's your National Hunt Chase winner. Then he obviously went to the Kerry Nationals. Thought I was there that day, and the reserve got in and beat him. Desmond House, who actually fancied for the Grand National. If it was a bog, he definitely have a chance if he got in the 34. But like, they were miles clear of the rest. You know, like Salvador Z was giving him over a stone and a half. Like, do you know what I mean? The only other horse that I like is Corbett's Cross. Obviously, Corbett's Cross. I suppose it all depends if they go really slow. If they go really, you know yourself, they crawls most of the time for the first 2 miles, and then it's a sprint.
Yeah.
Like he's technically is the fastest horse, like by far. Like he's by far the fastest horse. It's just I'd be worried about his jumping. Like if they turn on the taps there coming down the hill after the third last, and they jump the second last there, your heart's going to be in your mouth, like with him jumping, like absolute in your throat if you're on deep in him, like. So Embassy Gardens, he has to prove, but he looks a decent horse, like, and he's obviously proved for a fence. But I put him in the Brown Advisory. I can't understand why he's not there. If they think he's that good, he should be in the Brown Advisory. In fact, if I should be in the Turners. But look, that's the way they're going. It looks like
Cocoon. Hear the news of Roko coming.
Yeah, Roko is going to the Turners. That's why they're moving.
Yeah.
Look, that's the way it goes.
It's mad, isn't it? This goes back to the annoyance, I guess, with the Willie Mullins stuff at the beginning, Anthony. The fact that with Embassy Gardens and like the Fat to File stuff, it's just they should if Embassy Gardens was that good, he'd be running in a Brown Advisory. Like it's the weird placement of horses, isn't it? And if it was another year, if he didn't have a Fat to File, would Embassy Gardens be in a National Hunt Chase, or would he be in the race that essentially should run in? Fuck it, the National Hunt Chase. I used to like the race. It's not 4 miles anymore. It's a fast. They need to add the 4 furlongs back in. And then, or 2 furlongs, whatever it is, and make it a proper race again. But for now, it is what it is, right? I know I've cut us off again, but not the National Hunt Chase. Should we move on to Wednesday? The bar in Bingham. Now we don't know whether Ballyburn's going in or not. So I guess hypothetically, there are lots of potential horses in behind that you could make bits of cases for. I feel like it's windy enough, right? Again, the same as if you take Ballyburn out of the Supreme, there's a few in behind that you'd make relatively similar cases for in terms of how strong you'd fancy them. Feel like it's the same with the bar in Bingham as well. So we could do it both ways, right? I think we've all kind of said that if Ballyburn runs in this, he'll probably win this. If he runs in the Supreme, he'll probably win that. Let's pretend that he doesn't run in this. Let's pretend that Tuddy Hill didn't do what he did, and we know that Ballyburn's definitely going Supreme. Who would have been your strongest fancy, Joel, or who is your strongest fancy for the bar in Bingham for getting Ballyburn?
I honestly don't have one in this race. I mean, Ballyburn's mainly bet at the moment, so I haven't swallowed the hype about the favourite without Ballyburn, the one that got beat at the DRF by him. I think it's just been back since it's become second to Ballyburn, and people are jumping on that. But it was well beat by Ballyburn, so I wouldn't be too keen to take the price at the moment on that. But and
Slade's he's shortened up as well now for the Supreme off the back the Ballyburn come in, because Henry de Bromhead did say they'll go wherever Ballyburn doesn't, and that's that has to be a negative for a horse going into something like a big Grade 1 festival, that you're already admitting you're dodging horses for the fact that you know your horse isn't necessarily good enough, rather than being bullish saying I don't care where he goes, we'll run him. Whether they do that or not is a different thing, innit? But you at least for the fans, for the public, pretend you've got some confidence in your horse rather than saying, oh, I'm going to avoid that one, he looks too good. It's a bad thing, isn't it? That's the mad thing, though. So in Atlantique that got beat, Willie Mullins had confirmed that he was going to go there, but we know it's Willie Mullins bingo. Who knows where they're going to go? Mystical Power varies in types of prices. I feel like he's the most obvious one to step up to a Ballymore if Willie Mullins is going to do it, one of those 3 from the Supreme. But then I don't see many people talking about it being that way of doing it. Reading Tommy wrong, like Jamie said, could easily got to now at Bartlett. But I feel like if it was me and someone said to me right now, you have to bet on the race right now, it is it's a hard one to be confident in. Like I say, unless Ballyburn was coming here. But if I pretend that Ballyburn's not coming here, I feel like reading Tommy wrongs would be a fairly safe one if he comes here. But it is just the annoyance in the back of my head that are they definitely going to run him here? I feel like they should. Where would you run him, Joe? Would you run him here or the Albert Bartlett?
Probably here, I think.
Nice. Okay, that's good enough because then Darren Davis can ride anyway, can't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's got a high class hero for the Albert Bartlett.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a high class hero. And I think as well with the reading Tommy wrong thing, not that they'll necessarily always do this, but because Townend rode him, and I know Townend gets the first choice. Sorry, Jacob rode him. I do feel like they wouldn't throw Jacob off, regardless of where he goes, even if he potentially had like a favourites chance. But the fact is, if Paul Townend decided to ride Reed and Tommy wrong, his price wouldn't be 6-1 for this race. He'd be half the price. People are like, I guess, assuming that he won't be Paul Townend's choice, and he probably won't be, to be fair. And if you had to pin your colours to the mast, I mean, if Ballyburn runs it, do you think Ballyburn would win? And then the second question would be, Ballyburn doesn't come here, who would you be betting?
Yeah, definitely. I think Ballyburn wins if they I've said Machine. I think Slade Steel probably be my other pick if obviously he comes into this race. And yeah, I think reading Tommy wrong, I think the Santa Fe showed up in the last race to get past the antique, and he was just powering through the line, wasn't he? So I think he'd come up the hill well, and in that race be a good one to stick him in.
Yeah, it does. It looks pretty open, doesn't it, Jamie? We've had like previous years, especially with the novice hurdles, where there's always, especially in the Ballymore, apart from the years the Gard won it, and then you like your Sam Crows and your Envoy Land, but there's always like a few in behind that you can make a bit of a case for. We're saying Ballyburn's not coming here. Music to your ears. Who wins the Ballymore then? Barring Bingham.
If Mystical Power runs here, it'll win, yeah. Yeah. And
I think so too. That Lawler's a nice thing you talk about. And I was just jumping in and taking what you're saying. Yeah. They smashed him back, didn't they? He probably would have won it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I look the form. Look, exactly what the lads is saying there. Like with State Steel, it travels very well, but I don't know. Does it have the speed to win a like as you would say, Dave, that you need a speed horse to win a Ballymore. No, I don't like State Steel for some reason. I think it should be in the Supreme as well. But obviously, look at all depends where Ballyburn goes. Reading Tommy wrong, yeah, it was very good the last day. The one horse I don't fancy, look, it will be placed, is Atlantique. But as Johnny Deneen quoted, and I'm going to quote it as well, quote him, is like, I think Atlantique will travel like the best horse in the race, but he's soft at the finish. He's pure soft. He is like Stellar Story beat him a bumper, Firefox beat him in a bumper, and he looked the winner all the way up the straight, and then he just doesn't get there in the end. A good friend of mine was saying to me that Townend got the fractions wrong in the Lawler's a lace, but did he? Do you know what I mean? Reading Tommy wrong just had a better turn of foot in my book, and I see a lot of people on podcasts and Trudy's putting up Staffordshire not for this race because of the form behind Reading Tommy wrong in the race in Cork. So look, he might have a chance. But the only horse I really fancy, Dave, if he came here, I thought Townend gave him an awful ride in the Lawlers. Nathaniel Lacey is a horse called Predator's Gold, because I think this is his trip. I think as well that he just got it wrong, and he's form behind Caldwell Potter and the 2 miler at Christmas is still good form in my book. So if you said the gun to my head at the moment, I'd have Mystical Power to win and maybe Predator's Gold each way. And this is just at this present moment of time.
Nice. Yeah, I start Predator's Gold up after the Dublin Race Festival, because a lot of the time when he was jumping over, especially his early hurdles, you see like obviously all the horses going, and obviously there'll be some sort of, you can like noticeable higher upness of the jockey, or you can see the horse going over. He floated over so many hurdles, and then when he didn't do that, he seemed to lose a bit of speed and stuff. But I don't know, he left a bit of an impression that could be quite a good horse. He might end up being one of those, mightn't he, that ends up being like second or third in this, and then ends up being like a bit of a wise guy horse for the years after. I forget the name. I feel bad for it now. I forget the name of the Gigginstown horse that was. I think it was it behind Envoy, and then part died, didn't he, the year after when they sent him chasing? But like, because he looked like he was going to be an absolute welder, didn't he? And then it was one of those ones in behind. So maybe that might end up being like a thing with a Predator's Gold. But glad you gave a mention. Let's move on to the Brown Advisory so we can see how many days we can get through within the hour. Obviously, obviously Factor File comes in now. Like Willie Mullins has pretty much said it. I retweeted something about the fact that there was a YouTube video put up with Willie Mullins' actual interview with Gary O'Brien. And the reason why I was saying that was we said it on Ranting Racing last week. There was a Stable Tour comment with him saying that he was leaning towards the Brown advisory earlier in the season, and then Racing TV quote tweeted him saying that I am leaning towards the Brown advisory, and I said to you there, like, when this is being put together and you don't know which is actually the true comment or not, I'd rather just watch or listen to what he said. People are recording it, aren't they? People aren't just sat there writing it down with a pen and paper. So when they show the video, I know it's a different interview, but Gary O'Brien asked him the question, and Willie Mullins basically alludes to the fact that he will be campaigning him as a staying chaser. So essentially, he's coming here. Just wins, surely, Jamie?
Who's that?
Factor file for the Brown advisory.
Oh, yeah, 100%, Dave. And then on to the Gold Cup. Look, it's a deep enough race. Like, do you know what I mean? It's still a deep race. Like, you can't not stay away Faye in the way it ran in the Cotswold Chase behind like a proven horse of Capitano. I can't remember who was second that day. Who was second? I can't remember, to be honest with you. But anyway, the real whacker, yeah. Like, that's still, like, as a novice, that's goodish form. It's probably good enough to win plenty of renewals of this. I thought, yeah, like, Grey Dawning, Grey Dawning is a good horse, but I think it's a flat track horse. Look, it was coming to beat Ginny's Destiny last day in the in that race on New Year's Day at Cheltenham. It was New Year's Day, it was, yeah. But I'd be worried about Grey Dawning. Like, it will travel like a very, very, very good, very, very good horse. Is that at the second last, like at Warwick, would you be seriously worried about him at the second last at Cheltenham? Your heart's going to be in your mouth if you're on him. Very much so. But he's definitely he's a huge chance, obviously. But to me, like, if you're looking at potential Gold Cup horses, the surely is between Stay Away Faye and Factifile, and it's Factifile to me. I think it's a very good horse. Look, like, even like American Mike, like, I know it was beat him on debut at Navan. American Mike started to come out and win the 10 up novice chase. Do you know what I mean? So the form has been severely franked, and I can't see nothing beating him.
Yeah, I think so too. And for the thing with Grey Dawning, like you touched it with the Warwick race as well, like the I don't even know what it's called, but like not the wing of the fence, but you know, like the tall brushy bit that goes to the side of the fence. He's twatting himself into that as well, and obviously he banked the fence at Cheltenham. As much as the jockeys have an element of control on the back of a horse, the horse wants to plough through one and wants to go through the wing. It's going to do it. And Grey Dawning's got a bit of that about him. He's fast, probably a little bit stupid, isn't he? I'd prefer to see him in a Turners rather than having 20.
I agree totally with you. It's just that exactly what he does, Dave. He jumps fine, and all of a sudden, he gets to the end of when the nitty gritty and they turn on the tap. You're going to be seriously worried about him at the second last. He'll jump left. But the only thing is, with Mark Walsh, whoever town is going to be on Factifile, he better be aware of it. He wouldn't want to be up the inside there, neck and neck with Grey Dawning there, because he's going to cut across you. And that's the winning of the race there at the second last, really, in an RSA.
But it looks like it's, like you say, it's a deep enough race. Although Factifile doesn't look like he could be a worldie, you've still got to see him do it in, like, I guess, a more competitive race than he did against Gaelic. Joel, this race, the fact that Willie Mullins has now confirmed that Factifile is going to come here, I say he's confirmed that like it's breaking news. I mean, he surely is going to come here. Before he was going to come, it looked like quite a nice little betting heat. You look at Stay Away Faye, Grey Dawn, and you think the Britons have got a bit of a chance. Monty Star, I know Jamie doesn't give him a chance, but Monty Star was showing a bit of support for the race as well. Now Factifile comes here. I feel like it is fairly straightforward. Surely Factifile wins, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's different class to the rest of them here.
What would be the best of the rest, do you reckon?
I'm not. I can see Stay Away Faye staying on for second, even though I've been against him all season. I think it's too. I thought he should have gone National Chase actually, because I just think he's a bit slow. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was the first episode of this series. I mentioned walking on air for this race. It's still entered, but I'm just saying it's got a Pertemps qualifier entry for Saturday.
Oh, lovely.
So,
yeah, Henderson said something about him in the Racing Post, didn't he, yesterday? Let me see. I'll see if I can grab that up so we can see what he said about him. He definitely mentioned the horse. That was one of yours last year, wasn't it, JB? Walking around for the Coral Couple sake, wasn't it?
I shouldn't hear that now, because now I'm going to go in now tomorrow when he's entering the Pertemps and actually back him to win the race again.
You'll have to bet him, wouldn't you? I'll see if I can find the Nicky Henderson bit, because he said something about him in there. But Anthony, like alluded to the boys there, I'm basically saying that Factifile definitely runs here, and I'm basically saying that Factifile wins this race. Is it as straightforward as that? Because like he's a short enough favourite, really, based on the fact that we've not seen him at the Trip, and Didn't even have his season over hurdles, did he? The race against Gaelic Warrior, yes, it was very impressive. The time people have fallen over it. Willie seems really excited about this horse regardless, but I don't know, from like a form reading perspective, he beat a match race where Gaelic Warrior probably didn't run to his best, and then the run before that, I don't know, the form probably looks okay, but it's not 6-4 favourite for Brown Advisory form, is it? Or is he that good?
I mean, he feels, but like, yeah, it's never that straightforward, is it? Horse race is never that straightforward. But yeah, I think I keep a fancy to Great Dawning, but I just say, yeah, he's got a clanger in him, and he's big time. He jumps well, he travels all right through the races, and gets home strong. But you never know. But yeah, I think back to file probably does the job.
Yeah, and it's hard as well now, right? Because as much as Factor Foal's shortened up for the fact that he's coming here, Stay Away Faye and Grey Dawn and haven't been moved out off the back of him definitely coming here. So that, like, when they were like the more wise guy ones, like 6 or 7 to 1 Grey Dawn into betting for this race, now that Factor Foal is coming here and he's a 4 to 1 poke, you look at it and it puts you off better than ones in behind. But I'd imagine we'll probably get bigger prices on those all day. They could be ones for scummy each way doubles or something. Who knows? So for the best of us, so Grey Dawn, and I know you say you got a clanger in him, Anthony, but you'd be your choice of the rest, do you reckon?
With the rest, yeah, I don't know. I just fancy him over Stay Away Faye. I just think he's a faster horse. So maybe if he still likes jumping a little bit, I think he probably do him. Yeah, I think he doesn't.
Nice. I mean, it could easily happen, couldn't it? The form could be like, I guess, in some ways reversed. But even that Stay Away from Grey Dawn in race, like the fact that he banked the fence, I think most people are almost giving him the credit for kind of winning the race, isn't they? It looks like it's going to be an exciting one. I half want Factor Foal just to shift home because I want a worldie of a horse to be coming out, but I guess we'll have to see. I want to try and make some money out of it as well. Right, Champion Chase should be a formality. Hands up if you don't fancy El Fabiano to win the Champion Chase. Okay, we'll move on. Cross Country Chase. They're it's a like I said, tricky one for the Cross Country Chase. I don't see Delta Work being beaten. I appreciate the age. When you look at the trendy type stuff as well, age would be a bit of a concern for Manella Indo and Delta Work both being 11-year-olds. Galvin ticks the boxes in the first 3 in the betting. He needs to wear a tongue tie, I believe, because loads of the Irish ones that have done it. I think it's 7 of the last 9 Irish train winners of it have had a tongue tie on. But like, I still look at it now on Odds Checker, and it's 9-2 Delta Work, non-runner money back. Like, it makes me feel mad. Like, I have bet him to win because I think he'll win. But like, it's probably one of the most criminal each way freebies you've ever seen in your life. I don't think Manella Indo, as much as he's won a Gold Cup, I don't think he really wants this much of a test. So, Anthony, I'm going to come to you first. It's probably, I mean, it must be between Manella Indo, Galvin, and Delta Work for the cross country. I know Coca Beach jumped to Rice, he's in the betting as well. Who do you think wins the cross country? I've gone to you, Anthony. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. I missed it.
Who wins the cross country?
I fancy Manella Indo, to be honest. But, yeah, I fancy as well. Maybe I should take a stab at Galvin as well, probably, because it might have been just a year too soon for him last year. And yeah, I think he might go on and maybe reverse the form with Delta Work.
Yeah, and it's like a Gordon beneficiary now, and there wasn't that much in the Galvin Delta Work thing from last year to suggest that he might not possibly reverse the form. So I can see it. Joel, make me feel better. Does Delta Work win the cross country?
If it's soft, I think he wants softer ground, doesn't he?
I don't know. He did do that when he beat Tiger. That's when all the money came from. But do you remember when he used to run in Gold Cups? They said that he wanted good ground to win a Gold Cup. They're talking out their arse, didn't they? But he probably does. I suppose that when you look at the form of it recently, he probably does want it soft, and it better ground would be a better chance for Galvin, I guess.
I think I'd give. I've not had the bet yet, but I think if I had to right now, I'd take a chance on Manella Indo, former Gold Cup winner.
Is it that? Is it the class element that you're going with, or that handicap run? Was that what did it for you?
No, it's the taking a chance on the old form there.
Is it a race you normally get stuck into, or do you treat it as a bit of a novelty?
Novelty. It was, yeah.
Fair enough. Jamie, Delta Work wins the cross country, right? Someone help me.
I agree. I hate to go against Dave, but I actually agree with Joel. I think if it's soft ground, he wins. Yeah. I think the faster the ground, the better chance for Manilindo and Galvin. Yeah, like exactly what you're saying, Dave. He has a tongue tie, Galvin, so he needs better ground. So if it's soft, he has no chance. Even soft in the going, he has no chance. Then it brings back in Manilindo as well. My only thing with Manilindo is that I know it ran well off a slow pace, really, in that cross country in the handicap. But if you watch the Gold Cup last year, the Gold Cup, that it won. It was second to Plutarch. Yeah, it just stopped, and I'd be very worried over 3.5 miles in a battle up the hill with a Delta Work and a Galvin. So I can't have Manilindo for some reason. I know it has the backlash, won Gold Cups and all that, but no, I think soft ground Delta Work wins, good ground Galvin. It's the same too. To be honest with you.
Okay, well, I'm just going to fist pump, and I'm just going to say Delta Work wins. I know I'm mostly attracted to the fact that he looks like a scummy each way bet. Yeah, I'm betting him win only. What a mug I am. But I think it's one of those markets, even like the Tiger Roll Delta Work year when Delta Work did take his scalp, the price changed. Like Tiger Roll was 6-4 and then went out to like 5-1. Between the two of them, I managed to bet both of them at 4-1 plus within 2 hours of the actual race, which then ends up being mad, isn't it? The fact that you're getting 6-4 for either one of those two to win a race. So it could be similar this year. We're probably not going to get the same deluge of rain as we got that time round, but who knows? We're so close now. The time won't tell me what to watch, but we're so close to the Cheltenham Festival now where actually looking at a weather forecast might do us a little bit of a service. We might be able to get an idea of what's going on. Right, we'll do the champion bumper. So that's the first 2 days done. And I'm conscious that we've been here for quite a while. So rather than going through every race on the next couple of days, I'll just spin to each of, Jamie, we already know your thoughts. I'll spin to each of you, Anthony and Joel, to let us know your best fancies for the Thursday and Friday races where you've got them. But as for the bumper, right, I don't really recall a bumper feeling like as wide open as it is right now, because the horses that you can make a bit of a case for, I think it's also quite easy for people to dig a little bit at them as well. Like there's not too many that come here with, I guess, not necessarily an unblemished record, but I just don't feel like the most obvious horses have been winning. Like they're not the ones at the start of the season you might have had at the top of your mind on there. I've still got the weird affliction for Breaking Cars. I don't think he's got a bit of a chance, like just at a stupid price. I'm not like Tom Malone. I know is real keen on Tishan. I don't believe what he's done is enough to warrant the price that he is in there. But I say the same for all of them towards the head of the market. So I do feel like it's been one of these years where it's going to be 14-1 or big is going to be the winner. But then again, you get to that period and there's a handful of them you can make a relatively similar case for. So Joel, I'll come to you first. You can have 3 darts in the champion bumper if you need them. Who do you think wins the champion bumper? Have you backed anything already?
No, I'm not in the bet yet. If I had to have one right now, it would be Tishan. I think because the Irish, I'm not sure Willie Mines has one this year because they all seem. There was a bit of hype about that Jalon Dudaries as well. But I don't think they've done anything that makes them stand out as much better than Tishan.
No, and I think that Jalon Dudaries, I mentioned this before as well, but like it was Jamie, who was the Willie horse that was second to him?
Redemption Day.
Redemption Day bottled it, absolutely dogged it in second. If Redemption Day wasn't a dog, he would have beaten Jalon Dudaries that day, and then no one would be talking about him, I suspect. Well, not so much talking about him, but it would have been a blot against his name.
And then he was behind you ought to know at the DRF, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And that was second, and the winner's obviously out for the season now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
You can have them 3 then. Anthony, have you backed anything for the bumper?
I have, mate. Not much of a massive interest at the moment. I'll probably back today, really. But yeah. I'll either look at more of Maureen, but apart from that, I'll just wait for the day.
Yeah. That used to be my tactic, to be fair, as well. I very rarely get stuck into anything. Ballyandy, this is massive after time, but Ballyandy's one that I backed Andy Post before. Fernie Hollow, when he ended up winning, I backed him at the start of the season when I think everyone did, and then I traded out of him for a big loss on the exchange when he went up to a big price. Then managed to get a couple of quid back on him, but I typically would wait till nearer the day. Like I said, I still don't know what I'm doing. I feel like someone out there must have a handle on the bumper. Tends to be one of those as well, right? Where we do get ones that win at prices, like even when Briars Hill, when it was a big price, Fernie was a reasonable price. Like you do get them of those, but then when you get like an Envoy or something, when even he looked like a good thing, he was still 9-2 on the day. Don't even think you can really trust the market, can you? I know when Vega won it and it was like standing water out there, that was smashed and it was almost obvious, wasn't it? Then American Mike ran well, even though it's bad ground or whatever, but I'm desperate to find some sort of clue for that. Right, well, because we've got 5 minutes left, I'm going to come to you first, Joel. Thursday and Friday, whichever races you fancy, who are your best bets? Like, if we had to be betting stuff now, who do you think we should be getting stuck into?
I'd still make Banbridge my nap. I think if the ground, as long as the ground doesn't go soft, Banbridge would be my nap of the week.
And if the ground does go soft, I do genuinely believe with a horse like Banbridge, they won't run him, will they? Is the best part of it.
Same
if he can't win on the ground, they'll pull him, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I've backed Envoy Allen as well. On that 14s as well. So I've got a backup there at least. Nice. In the stayers as well, I'm with I've got 2. I'm on Cranbo at 33s, but he's a bit short now. Not sure I'll be getting involved at 5s and 6s. And Tiupu will be our main bet. Obviously, he does want it soft, so I probably can't have both. But you know, I think he'll be okay. 3 miles on good to soft. I think I'd still fancy Tiupu.
I think he shits on as well. I keep watching back the stairs that had a run from last year because I know he got beat and it's not a good record for horses that had been beaten it before. I think Iris's Gift in 2004 was the last horse who'd been beaten in it and then went and won it until Sire de Burlay did it last year. Sire de Burlay is the first horse for like 30 years or maybe not that far, but to win in headgear. So he bucked the trends last year. But I just still watch back that Tiupu thing. Davey, I think, gave him a shit ride. Had to switch him all that sort of stuff in the end. And I feel like I feel like he knew Sire de Burlay was there, Dash or Drasher, and he got cocky and just thought, I'm going to go past these. And if he had the ride back now, he would have sent him on a bit sooner. And maybe he just takes a little bit of time to get there. But I got a soft spot for him. Anyway, so there's 2 of the ones for Thursday. Any more for Thursday?
Mayor's Novice, the Mullins horse. Jade the Grugy.
Yeah.
I think brighter days ahead. I jumped better last time, but the first 2 times was a bit dodgy, and I'm wondering if it jumped better last time for the longer distance.
Yeah, and then big field it'll be as well when it normally is in the Mayor's Novice, and it's like a big bustly race, isn't it? If you're going to make mistakes, you'll make him in there, I guess, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then Dice Way, you don't know how good it is. It's not, hasn't beat anything. It avoids the £5 penalty, but you'd like to think the others are good enough to give her that.
Yeah, I think because we've either had 7 or 8 renewals, but I feel like maybe all but 3 of the winners have carried the 11-7 anyway.
Yeah.
Last 2 haven't they? The 2 before that were 11-2.
The last 3 have, and then 2 before that were 11-2.
Yeah, there you go. So as much I know that I do get it right. You'd obviously rather run with less of the weight, but I still put it down to: would you rather have actual like potential race experience or go up against better horses, better quality? Who fucking knows? But it's smart of Fergal to do it. To be fair to him, if that's what he feels like he needs to do, the same as I'm saying with Henry saying the Slade Steel, I'm going to avoid whatever horse it is. If you've got a really, really good Mayor's Novice hurdler and you're genuinely worried about getting a penalty for her, you can't. I don't believe your confidence can be as high as you say it is. But I've been anti her all season. I'd love her to go and win, to be fair, and shut me up for a bit. Right, so that's the Mayor's Novices done as well. Anything else for the Thursday?
Nah, that'll do.
And then Friday, best things for Friday. So Gino obviously shits them in the Triumph, so you can tell us what price you've backed that if you already got on.
18-1.
Fucking hell. You had more than a £5 on that one, right?
Only tenner.
Yeah, but still, that's decent. A couple of £100 a race, mate. Do that across 28 races.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Albert Bartlett. I've got a small bet on High Class Hero at 10s. I've not backed it yet, but Captain T, I think I'm going to have a few quid on.
Paul Nichols' stable tour things out, innit? He said about came out an hour ago. What did he say about Captain Tegan here? He's every bit as good as at the same stage of his career as Stairway Fair won the Albert Bartlett last year, and I don't think they made enough use of his stamina when he was beaten there in November. But it's all good experience, so he sounds fairly confident, to be fair.
Yeah. Slight concern about the last race at the at Newbury that time, because everything seems to have taken out of the second and third have been well beaten there.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's just got more class than them. He's had a good break as well.
Yeah, he's got enough time to get freshened up, isn't he?
What
about Chapeau de Soleil? Chapeau de Soleil wins there, but I don't know.
I did follow you in on that one actually. I got 50-1. So
you can sit back and I'll send you a $5 back for that as well. Because it's one of those races, right? You could get away with it a bit with an out bar. The day, you don't look stupid putting up a massive price horse until they run like an absolute bag of shit. I did it with Rhinestone a few years ago as well. Made a bit of a wild case for him and then ran like a bag of shit. So Albert Bartlett's sewn up then, right?
Yeah. Lastly, Gold Cup. I'm with Shishkin again.
Without Galloping Deschamps, you can get 5-1. I don't know if it's still there. Would you be tempted with that?
Oh, I think that's a great price, yeah.
And you can get 3 places as well, so you come 4th behind Galloping Deschamps.
The problem is he might fly home and he might pull up, but that's Shishkin. But he's on his day. I think he's got the class, and I don't even back in Galloping Deschamps, but 4 to 5, whatever he is. So
yeah, he's grossly short now, and he was 6 to 4 for the race last year, wasn't he? Without all the question marks of, because they all say about like the Gold Cup winners then coming back leaving a mark until he won over Christmas or whenever it was that he won that race when he was a stupid price. Everyone was saying it obviously left a mark when it the Punchtown run and then the John Dirk, and everyone was like, oh, look, this is what happens with Gold Cup horse, it leaves a massive mark. Then all of a sudden the same people that said that now after 2 runs are saying it hasn't left a mark. Both things could be true, couldn't they? It may have left a mark, and he might have just got away with it for a couple of races. Everyone knows he's a fucking aeroplane, but like odds on in a Gold Cup, regardless of the depth in behind, like they're not shit horses in behind, are they?
I'd say it's probably a better race than last year. I mean, Conflated was 3rd, and that didn't stay. Brayman's game walked home. So, yeah, I couldn't back the odds on.
Nice.
I think Shishkin's got a real chance. So.
Anything else for the last few races? I mean, the Fox Hunters, the Mares Chase, or the Martin Pipe?
No, not yet. I mean, once the weight's all out of the handicaps, then I'll have a few, but nothing at the moment.
Yes. Well, we're going to get the handicap entries tomorrow, innit? And then we'll have to wait a week for the weights that come in there. Just before I move on to you, Anthony, Joel, with the handicap stuff, be interested to know like what your process, or if you have a process with it, because what I have done in the past and what I try to do is I'll have a look at the entries of them and then I try and give myself an idea of what I think the marks might be for some of the Irish horses. And then it doesn't necessarily mean that I can auto bet, but just to try and get ahead of things when the weights are published. If there's an Irish horse that, I don't know, say it's 136 in Ireland and I think I'd make this 142 in England and it gets given only £1 and it starts going off at 137, I'd bet those ones straight off the bat of it. Do you do anything with the weights, look at it and try and guess the UK tax, or do you just trust that the UK handicapper knows better than we do?
Well, I think if what are you basing the add-on on, basically? I mean, I think you have to take a bit on trust there. And it's easy with the British horses because you just say, right, you look at the form, look at the rating, you say, are they wear handicaps or not? Well, it's probably this with the Irish tax, they call it, you don't really know.
Yeah. And it's not blanket either, is it? It's because you'll get like you'll see it. The Martin Pipe, there'll be 2 horses in Ireland that are rated 135, for example. The UK handicap will give one 140 and one 137 or something. And I guess you have to try and then why if in Ireland they're the same mark, why over here have they not been given both the same percentage increase? The handicapper is getting better with it though, I think, because I don't know what the trends are for the last few years, but British horses have been doing okay in the handicaps in recent years compared to what they had been doing for a little while. So
that's because the British handicappers anti-Irish.
I know. I knew you would say that. That's why I do the marks, Jamie.
That's why the British BHA brought in the extra run, so Ireland doesn't win all the handicaps.
Yeah, but think about that stuff.
No. I know I'm 100% correct, Dave. You're not gonna put the wool over my eyes there, though. Come on.
I don't. But this is the thing, right? When I look at Tullyhill, right, it just screams out to me. He would have been the Saint-War or State Man of a few years ago, wouldn't he?
Exactly. I totally agree with you there. 100%.
Whereas now that Willie can't do it with only the 3 runs,
you fit the nail on the head there. That if Tullyhill was now, he'd be in the County Hurdle.
Yeah, and it's the same, like the Galloping, all of them. And then that's the mad thing that you look back and you look at State Man, you look at Saint-War, and you look at Galloping Deschamps and think, would they have all won the Supreme if they ran in it? And I know it's like different renewals and stuff, but fuck me, they would have all gone fairly close, wouldn't they? So maybe that does help Tullyhill. Right, Anthony, I'm going to come to you. Thursday, Friday, any races you fancy, whatever your best bets potentially are, if you've got any.
Yeah, like obviously there's Ryanair, pretty open race, isn't it? But, I quite like last year's winners, Alan again, to be honest. Yeah, and possible probably have a little bit on Stage Star maybe as well. Probably draw a line under the last race, and then yeah, probably the stayers. I've got TU2.
That's all you need, mate.
On Sergino. Sorry,
what was that one at a price?
What's that? The
was it because I interrupted you after you said Tiapu because I said that's the only one you need. Did you say another one in the stairs?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I've also got I'm on Sergino. After that, today, I'm on Sergino to try. I was on him at 8, so not quite as good as Gold. 18.
Nice.
Yeah, not quite as Gold's 18 there, but yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, but I mean, you're on a winner, aren't you? It pays bigger than it pays now. Anything else for the Friday?
Yeah, Gold Cup. Yeah, I'm not. It's such an open. I think obviously Gallop into chance turns up and form, he's going to just smash it. But yeah, like you have an idea like with these races, and yeah, you could. I quite like the profile of Gentleman's Game, but obviously he's inactive, so I'm a bit hesitant to put anything on him.
Yeah, it's Mouse Morris as well. And like, I don't want to be rude and say that, like, because he is a very good trainer, but like I feel like if Gentleman's Game was with another yard, for especially going into a Gold Cup, you would get more preps into him, you get more runs into him. I don't think a Charlie Hall and then thinking of him a Gold Cup horse works, does it?
Yeah, totally agree. It's just a bit of a punty one, really, more than anything.
But yeah, he's big enough price to take a punt, isn't he?
More class.
Happy days. Right. Well, I feel like we've covered the 4 days. We've gone just over an hour. I know we've had to rush through the last couple of days, but we've all got bed to get to, right? Boys, I genuinely appreciate you both coming on. We'll potentially do, if you, I mean, it's up to you if you fancy doing it, but potentially after Cheltenham or something, we could have a catch up again, see how we fared, anything we fancy towards Aintree or anything like that. But if you're interested in like doing it again, you don't have to feel obliged to say anything about it now, but let me know if you do again and we'll sort something out for that. Otherwise, I'm going to kick everyone out. I'm going to end the stream and just I wish you all the best of luck for Cheltenham. Like I said, I appreciate you guys coming on. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you haven't done this sort of stuff before, being sat there. Going live as well is like a million times worse. But you two have been like a pleasure to have on. I appreciate it. Like, it's nice to talk horses anyway. So obviously drop me messages or anything. Same goes for anyone out there. If you want to talk horses, then drop me a message, ask any questions or whatever. But it is head time focused towards Cheltenham now, isn't it? Preview at Toaster. Less than 2 weeks away now. Like I say, handicap entries tomorrow, weights the week after, and then it'll all be over in 3 weeks and 4 days, when we'll be able to kick back, relax, and have a rest for a bit, because it does consume us all. But fingers crossed, everyone's in a few good positions. We get a few winners. Yeah, I think I'm just going to say good night. Happy with that? Anyone got any last words? No, I'll take that as a no. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Cheers, boys.
Thanks for coming on.